Right now, MAGA is turning against Donald Trump over a number of things. First and foremost, the Iran war. People not happy about that one. But listen to this dude kind of air his grievances.
What in the f*** am I going to do with a Trump phone? I don't need another phone bill.
Yeah, if you didn't know, Trump is selling a golden phone, a golden Android phone for $47.45 a month. And comparable plans on other networks like AT&T or whatever cost like $20 a month. So
we didn't get a stimulus. We didn't get a DOGE check. We didn't get no debt relief. No help for rent. No help for your mortgage. No help for groceries.
Well, I appreciate that this guy is coming back to reality, so I don't want to insult him. But to those who haven't reached his point yet, you dumb son of a bitch, what did you think was going to happen?
They won't raise our wages. They won't lower prices. We're f***ing drowning in debt, but guess what we get? We get a Donald Trump phone. A f***ing phone, gold-plated with Trump's picture on the back of it.
Wait till you hear what's happening in Iran right now and what they're doing to retaliate against the United States, namely shutting down the Strait of Hormuz, which is going to skyrocket oil prices. Buckle up for that one. Iran just, I believe, is about to, already has, shut down 1/5 of the world's supply of oil.
I voted for him. Do I want a fucking Trump phone? No! I want some goddamn relief. No food stamps, no help with child care, no clean water in Flint, no cheap utilities, but a gold-plated, freedom-fueled, white, red, and broke Android with unlimited patriotism for $47.45 a fucking month.
Broke patriotism. That's good. I like that.
Can't call your doctor, can't afford your medications. But don't worry, you can call your landlord and tell him you still can't pay the rent money with your Trump phone. This is what America's come to. No solutions, no support, just a $47.45 phone bill, phone plan. What is this? Is this a marketing plan? Are we saving the country, or is this all about marketing? They gave up on helping us, but hey, at least the phone comes with a flag so you can show your patriotism, I guess. I don't know anymore.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic, dude. I love this to death. Anyway, a lot of trumpeters, is that what one would call it? Trumpeters? MAGA-Potamians? I like that one. A lot of MAGA-Potamians are turning on him. So let's just kind of scroll through here. Congratulations to everyone. It has been fully agreed by and between Israel and Iran that there will be a complete and total ceasefire in approximately 6 hours from now when Israel and Iran have wound down and completed their in-progress final missions. By the way, I'm sure I don't need to say this, but literally anything that you see on here should be distrusted. Anything. They lie for a living on here. They make shit up. They post fake news all the time. Marjorie Taylor Greene, every time America is on the verge of greatness, we get involved in another foreign war. Again, Donald Trump has started war with Iran, effectively, and bombed some scientific site or something. It's not even a nuclear site because they're not trying to make a bomb. They haven't tried to make a bomb since 2003 when they shut down their nuclear program. They have been enriching uranium to a level needed for nuclear power, which was always part of the Iran deal. It was never, nobody ever had a problem with that. They passed every inspection, and enriching for nuclear power is not the same as enriching for a weapon in any way. You cannot, it just doesn't work the same. So anyway, Trump is attacking Iran for Israel for no other reason but that. And there is a wing of the Republican Party that is just straight up Nazis. They're just Nazis. Marjorie Taylor Greene here is from the Nazi wing. I would categorize people like Mike Huckabee, on the other hand, not as Nazis, but as white Christian supremacists who are just as out of their heads as Nazis are, but in a different way. So the Nazi wing of the Republican Party, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, are opposed to helping Israel because they fucking hate Jews. And the other half of the Republican Party, like Mike Huckabee, are obsessed with helping Israel because they believe it's like a religious mandate or whatever. So there's just this this massive fracture in the Republican Party, fascinatingly. So Marjorie Taylor Greene speaking out against the Iran war. She says, there would not be bombs falling on the people of Israel if Netanyahu had not dropped bombs on the people of Iran first. Israel is a nuclear-armed nation. This is not our fight. Now, I wanted to see how the Donalds, or how this Patriots.win extremist cell is reacting. Let's just look through some of the comments here. We were concerned about Israel gaining nuclear capability, but then a president got his head blown off. I think he's talking about JFK. And yeah, I think it's an open secret that Israel has nuclear weapons. Let's see. Every passing year, it seems like the Nazis, if what we're told is true, should have been left alone to rid the world. Holy fucking shit, dude. You see what I'm saying, right? You see what I'm saying? This is insane. This is insane. For the record, the Nazis made deals with Zionists to try to force Jews out of Germany and into the Palestine area. If they left Germany, then Germany commandeered all of their goods, all their stuff, their business, their money that was in the bank would then go to Germany. Their house would now be commandeered by Germany. And even if they didn't leave, a lot of the time, they took that stuff anyway. But they could keep it if they moved to Palestine area before Israel existed, because the Zionists made a deal with him in the 30s. Anyway, what's happening here is at least in part due to Hitler. But what an absolutely psychotic thing to say. Like, do I even need to draw this out anymore? Every passing year, it seems like the Nazis, if what we are told is true, should have been left alone to rid the world. Jesus, we need a time machine to warn the U.S. not to get involved with World War II. I'm telling you guys, there is a full-blown Nazi half of the Republican Party. I would argue, actually, it's probably close to 30% of the Republican Party is actual full-blown Hitler-loving Nazis like this, 30%. There was just as much, if not more, reason for it to be USA Special Forces. JFK left them to die, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's not really, I don't care about that. Nukes are fake, so it wasn't about that. What? We are diving into conspiracy land right now. Just when I think Zillennials, I think they're Zoomers, not Zillennials, have reached peak dummy. I mean, you know, there are slurs all through here, by the way, but I'm trying to censor myself. When they've reached peak dummy with flat earth or gender is fluid, they come up with something even more stupid. You think flat earthers are on the left? Or it's like a Zoomer thing? What are you talking about? The further right you get, the more likely you are to be flat earth. There's a whole religious denomination out there of evangelicals centered around being flat earth. They even debated Greg Locke. Seriously. These people are in another reality, man. I'm telling you. Which sub? It's not a sub. This is Patriots.win. It is an extremist cell. They were on Reddit previously, but they were kicked off of Reddit for being too extreme. It was r/thedonald. And they moved to thedonald.win. And then they moved to Patriots.win when there was some internal drama with the URL owner or whatever, the domain name owner. It's kind of a shame there isn't a dark mode. Is there a dark mode? Oh, there is a dark mode. Oh, beautiful. Okay. Sorry for putting you guys through that up to now. Let's see what else we got. Hey, she makes sense? Oh, she's talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene. Yeah, she's nailing it here. This is a horrible decision by G. Otis. They unironically call Trump G. Otis, God Emperor of the United States. And it's going to destroy the MAGA coalition and any hope we had at winning the midterms. Yes, Israel started it, and I keep asking myself, why now? Since Netanyahu has been saying Iran is weeks away from having a nuke for 40 years, couldn't he have waited until after our midterms? I'm pretty sure he hates Trump. Remember, bro, everybody hates Trump. Are you serious? Nobody likes Donald Trump. Who the f*** do you think is on a world stage that actually likes him? The people who claim to like him, like Putin or whoever, are using him. Obviously. He's an idiot. I'm pretty sure he hates Trump. Remember, he was the first leader to congratulate Biden on his steal in 2020. I'll never forgive him for that. Wow, dude. They're in another world, man. I'm telling you. I have libertarian leanings, so my feelings about these are what one might expect. My wife went to bed early last night and missed the whole thing, but saw it on the news this morning. Okay. We need regime change in Israel. So the point that I'm trying to get to is that, like, there's a very large subset of MAGA that is full-blown Nazi, and they do not support Israel under any circumstances, and that is what we are seeing right now. We're watching that unfold in front of us, and I'm loving every second of it, to be perfectly frank. Americans last. Americans to pick up the bill for their own destruction. Too bad Iran didn't take advantage of kids on Epstein Island, because this administration would have done nothing to them and covered up all their wrongdoings. Wow. Oh my God, dude. Again, like, this is the hub of Trump support. They call him Geodis, and they are all unhappy with what he's doing right now. This is a good sign. This is actually the reason why Iran is standing up to these sickening freaks. I don't want to live in an Islamic system, but I have a lot of admiration for Iranian leadership. They're refusing to bow down and sell out to their own people. And sell out their own people. Imagine if we could get a handful of politicians like that here. Wow, dude. I actually agree with this. Not my brothers, not my sisters, not my countries, not my problems, not my war. Jesus, dude. Just wondering if Iran, disguised as a Democrat, cardboarded over the windows at TCF and accepted 2 truckloads of bow. Oh my God, he's spreading election conspiracies. Then took off the disguise and threatened the election certifiers to certify or go to jail. I don't know what that means. I think he's just spreading conspiracies. Somewhere, Lindsey Graham is touching himself. Okay, that's funny. And he is absolutely correct. Lindsey Graham came out and reacted to what's happening right now, and it was as insane as you would think. He wants to, quote-unquote, regime change Iran. Guys, Israel says Iran tried to assassinate Trump over 9,000 times. Israel spent a fortune defending Trump from these evil killers. Praise to Netanyahu for saving our country. It's kind of weird that Israel can defend our president from so many attacks, but can't handle Iran on its own. But who cares? Israel gets what Israel wants. Let's go. Oh my God, dude. The one time I'm glad that there are Nazis in MAGA is when it's causing this massive rift right in the middle of it. I am eating this up. Not a bad message at all, but definitely the wrong messenger. A grifter. Wow. So, oh wow, that's fascinating. These people love Marjorie Taylor Greene usually. But when she disagrees with Geodis, they suddenly turn on her. A grifter who says the right things but backed Kevin McCarthy just because he allowed her to be on committees, cheated on her husband multiple times, used Ukraine intel to invest in defense stocks before the war. Absolutely true. Oh, this is correct. Trump needs less grifters who, behind closed doors, support rhinos and more MAGA. That would also help his decision-making if he wasn't surrounded by a pit of vipers that keep getting voted back in. Wow, dude. For the record, Donald Trump supported Kevin McCarthy also in this situation that he's referring to here. Trump instructed people to support McCarthy in this no confidence vote or whatever. But, you know, he just pretends that didn't happen. All right, let me look at another one. There is another, like, page that I had here. Secretary Hegseth, this mission was not and has not been about regime change. All right, let's see what this link is here.
So, is regime change off the table, Mr. Secretary? And to the chairman, you said the battle damage assessment is still ongoing, but do you believe that some nuclear capability in Iran remains?
Nuclear.
This mission was not and has.
Okay, just want to clarify. He was asked, is regime change off the table, right? Dude is specifically asking him, are we going to go after Khamenei, the leader of Iran, and try to replace him? Now, let's hear what Pete Hegseth responds here to this very obvious and clear question.
This mission was not and has not been about regime change. The president authorized a precision operation to neutralize the threats to our national interests posed by the Iranian nuclear program and the collective self-defense of our troops and our ally Israel?
Thanks for your question. I think BDA is still pending, and it would be way too early for me to comment on what may or may not still be there. But thanks for.
So,
all right, now let's see what these nutter butters of epic proportions have to say to that. Israel begs to differ, but there we go. This mission was not and has not been about regime change. Israel begs to differ. Yeah, Israel's been pretty clear about that. It's about regime change. That's Israel's problem, not ours. Keck, sure, this wasn't our problem either. Iran detonating a nuke next to the world's busiest shipping lane would be our problem. Nothing to do with Israel. Oh, now we got the supporters coming in, supporting the Iran war. Yeah, Iran doesn't have nuclear weapons. Never did. Not even trying to get any. The United States tore up the Iran deal, but the rest of the world did not. This is them trying to defend going to war with Iran. Iran has never been interested in getting a nuclear weapon, not since like 2003. As a matter of fact, they specifically said if Israel drops a nuke on them, Pakistan has agreed to drop a nuke on Israel. So basically, in schoolyard terms, what that means is a little head kid knows he has a big brother that can beat anybody's ass. So he's going up to people and he's punching them in the face. And if those people come at that little kid, he runs behind the big head that's protecting the little kid so that they can't get to him. So this other kid says, you're going to stand right here and fight me. And if you have your dickhead brother come at me, then my dickhead brother's going to come at you. I'm going to have so much censoring to do here. That's kind of the schoolyard version of what's happening right now. Anyway, this is the justification that has been given for going to war with Iran, and it's piss poor, vapid. It's the exact same justification given to go into Iraq. It was nonsense. George W. Bush just went in to finish what his dad started under his administration in the early 90s. That's it. Wasn't about mass destruction or any of that. DJT stepped in it now, wasted a great opportunity to MAGA, but chose globalism and militarism over the American people. Sad day for America. 45 upvotes on that one. Sometimes America has overlapping interests with other countries. Doesn't make it globalism. Wow, listen to this dude. This guy is coming up with all kinds of excuses that if anyone else made those excuses, they would be called out by him. But it's something that he cares about, so he's just going to pretend that it's not a, that there isn't a problem with this justification, that he wouldn't have ever had a problem with it if anyone else provided it. I'm glad to see people here arguing about peace and not entering conflicts, but we should not pretend that this was a random and reckless action for Trump to take, or that ignoring Iran was an option. Ignoring Iran doing what? What do you think they were doing? They didn't do shit to anybody. They were bebopping along, doing their thing, and Israel launched like a military strike on them. I saw a video of a cruise missile or some, I don't know, a supersonic missile, I don't know, coming from Iran, running into a military complex in Israel, which was very intentionally placed in a civilian area. And a guy is like, it hits the building, dude is filming, and he says, what the f***? It's like, what the f*** do you think was going to happen? Okay, Israel just went in and launched a military strike on Iran. Do you think there aren't going to be consequences for that? For Israel, it's about regime change. It doesn't matter what they say or what we say. Now we're involved. Stupid decision. Trump should have just let Israel handle it. This will have consequences come midterms. Mark my words. Don't be shocked, people. Oh, they won't be shocked. They're just going to claim that it was stolen, of course. There's just going to be a lot of it was stolen again. Obviously. Gender expression changes throughout the lives of cis people, but for some reason, some of us can't wrap their head around other people doing the same thing. Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, I should have mentioned this earlier. I got all wrapped up in the flat earth thing, but this whole gender fluid thing, again, this is something that these people just don't understand. They don't care to understand. I don't know. You know, some people don't have strong ties to their gender. They don't feel as masculine as you do, or they don't feel as feminine as like your mom does when I'm with her, for example. People experience gender and life generally differently than you. Why do you care? Why is it any of your fucking business? This is what freedom is all about. People making decisions for their own lives and enjoying their lives. Ultimately, when pressed, you will find out, you'll get these people to finally admit, typically, that it isn't just about letting people live their lives and do their thing, because they don't want to live in a society where people are allowed to live their lives and do their thing. Like, if you say, this isn't affecting you, they'll say, well, they're trying to push it on kids. And when you thoroughly debunk the fact that they're pushing it on kids, they're not. They say, well, I mean, it's just harmful to society, generally. For people to have freedom, I guess. Harmful to society, yeah. Sounding more and more like Iran, actually. That's kind of interesting. Israel won't handle it. They've cried about Iran nonstop since the 90s and won't do anything. They simply want Americans to die while they sit back and stay safe. This will just push Iran to be even more militant in the future, though. A regime change has never really panned out long-term for anyone, has it? No, it hasn't. And also, here's what I find fascinating. Putin has come out and said, if there's regime change in Iran, we're going to have a problem. There better not be regime change in Iran. And I am so fascinated by that. So Trump is now pulled between two different things. He's pulled by the Israel lobby and the right-wing nutcases like Mike Huckabee and stuff to do regime change in Iran. And he's being pulled by Putin to not get involved in any of this. And I have to wonder, where is he going to break? Like, which way is he going to fall? Speaking of Huckabee, do you guys hear what Huckabee said to Trump? The tweet he said, or the text message he sent him? Okay, here we go. This is the text. From Mike Huckabee, a pastor, politician, ambassador, and great person. Now, just read what Huckabee said here. It's kind of tiny, so. Mr. President, God spared you in Butler, Pennsylvania to be the most consequential president in a century, maybe ever. The decisions on your shoulders, I would not want to be made by anyone else. Now, just think about what happened within the past 100 years. Most important in a century? Who was the president 100 years ago? Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who's president throughout World War II. And after him was Truman, I believe. Or maybe Eisenhower was in there and then Truman. Anyway, no, it was Truman then. And Truman dropped the atomic bomb on Japan, right? Keep reading. The decisions on your shoulders I would not want to be made by anyone else. You have many voices speaking to you, sir. Capitalized, sir. But there is only one voice that matters. His voice. I am your appointed servant in this land, and I am available for you. But I do not try to get in your presence often, because I trust your instincts. Already we're in, like, La La Land, right? He's saying that he believes that Donald Trump is anointed by God to bring about the end of the world. I'm going to give you the subtext that he isn't saying in this. Huckabee is of a particular denomination of Christianity that believes that when Jesus comes back, he's going to return in Israel. And he's not going to be able to return until the third temple is built. But there's a mosque where the third temple has to be built, the Al-Aqsa Mosque. So Israel's stated goal is to destroy Al-Aqsa Mosque and rebuild Solomon's temple. And in Christian theology, that means the end of the world. That means Jesus returns, acts as a cosmic judge to destroy everything. Apocalypse comes, everybody's raptured, the tribulation, all of it. So Huckabee thinks the end of the world is going to happen right there in Israel, and it's going to end in thermonuclear disaster, basically, and then Jesus returns. So Huckabee is the ambassador to Israel, and the subtext here is he believes he's going to die. He is 110% confident he's going to die because Jesus is going to come back, but He thinks that he's part of God's plan to be there when Jesus returns, or be there right before he returns, because he's going to kick it in this thermonuclear attack. Okay, so he says, I don't try to get in your presence much because I trust your instincts. I am your appointed servant in this land being Israel, and I'm available for you. No president in my lifetime's been in a position like yours, not since Truman in 1945. Truman, of course, dropped the bomb. I don't reach out to persuade you, only to encourage you. I believe you will hear from heaven, and that voice is far more important than mine or anyone else's. You sent me to Israel to be your eyes, ears, and voice, and to make sure our flag flies above our embassy. My job is to be the last one to leave. I will not abandon this post. Our flag will not come down. You did not seek this moment sought you. It is my honor to serve you. Mike Huckabee. It's a death cult. It is a death cult. I don't know how it could possibly be any clearer than that. Imagine what is going through this guy's head right now. That is degrees of psychotic I cannot even touch. Oh my God. Okay, we're going to wrap it up on Patriots.win. You get the point. Trump supporters are not in favor of the Iran war generally, but Christian nationalist extremist nutcases, the evangelical denomination, if you will, like Huckabee himself, they are in favor of the Iran war because they want Trump to launch a nuclear weapon at the Middle East to start World War III, which will lead to Jesus' return. So just take a look at the CBN thing, Christian Broadcasting Network. In the hours since Trump cut his trip to Canada short and returned home to the White House, he's heard from U.S. Ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, who's urging the commander-in-chief to seek the voice of God amidst the escalating Israel-Iran conflict. Trump posted a screenshot to Truth Social of a lengthy text message Huckabee sent him. As many are beginning to speculate, the president could be on the verge of ordering the U.S. military to join Israel in its fight. Oh my God. To join Israel in its fight against a potentially nuclear Iran. There is no potentially nuclear about it. This is called manufactured consent, but okay. In the message, the ambassador, a former pastor and longtime supporter of Trump, called the Republican leader the most consequential president in a century, maybe ever, and reminded him only one voice matters, referring to the voice of God in matters relating to Israel. Huckabee wrote he believes Trump was spared by God on July 13th, 2024, when a would-be assassin failed to fatally strike the president while he was campaigning for re-election in Butler, Pennsylvania. The decisions on your shoulders I would not want made by anyone else, he wrote. Trump has reportedly discouraged any attempts to assassinate Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, and Israel's ambassador to the U.S., Leiter, has said the Jewish state is not in the business of regime change. Are you kidding? Really? Israel's not in the business of regime change? Okay. However, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that killing Khamenei would end the conflict between the two nations. We've had half a century of conflict spread by this regime that terrorizes everyone in the Middle East, blah, blah, blah. It's complete nonsense. So, yeah, that's going on right now. The ones that are not Nazis are supporting this whole thing, by and large, like CBN and Mike Huckabee, because they want Armageddon to be here already. And the ones that are not supporting it are Nazis. There is no in-between in the Republican Party. I don't support war in Iran because we don't need to start a war of aggression. Because Israel started this, they can finish it. Anyway, Jesus, dude. Yeah, tell me what you think about it in the comments. This is just wild. This is a wild moment in history, man.